Salty Xbots. This is probably going to be one of those cinco, one of those and one of those. That's what this is going to be about. I'm pretty sure that people are not going to like what I'm going to say, but it is what it is. Welcome to Hump Day. As you already know, what's going on, Philip? As you already know, we are going to be actually doing a story. We do a story time of something that I've dealt with during the week, and then we get right into the topic. So the story time for the day. Well, before we even go on to that, right? Let's talk about the topics. So not a lot of crazy things happen. There's a lot of speculatory shit that's been going on. We're talking about, they got Kojima Productions. Supposedly, Sony has updated their banner to show one of the characters from Death Stranding, and people are kind of speculating as to what the fuck does that mean. And truthfully, we don't know. I mean, I think it's their IP, to be honest. I think it's their IP, so I can't really say too much about what's going on with that. So I don't want to kind of elaborate on something that I'm not sure of personally. So I don't want to talk about that necessarily. I mean, I do want to talk about it, but I don't want to speculate and say that and you just jump off a cliff with that particular subject. Also, the Halo Infinite engagements, which was kind of crazy. Looking at that, a lot of people are going to think that this is like going to be some sheer negative talk about Halo, but it's like, why can't I, discuss things like this? Why is that such a big irritation for people that I can't discuss, other gaming news? That's the thing that kind of kills me. You know what I mean? I always wanted to know why you can't say anything, any kind of critique or criticism. It's, to me, pretty foolish and stupid that I can't say anything about it. But Halo Reach, just to kind of talk about it, let me pick up this phone here. Halo Reach, it's dropping in, engagements, and people are not really playing that game anymore. I don't have the game really to be talking about it necessarily, but I mean, I can speak on it. I should be able to speak on it, right? Anybody should be able to speak on it, And it's always made me kind of wonder in this case, like, what the fuck's going on with, 343? They just can't get it together. You would think that in an established franchise, you have everything that you need, all the history, and you still can't get it right. It's so bizarre to me that's a thing, They struggle with an existing IP. It's kind of weird to me. Weird shit. But that's okay. Which kind of leads me into just salty ass Xbots. It's kind of strange that you ever notice how a lot of people that favor the Microsoft console, they seem to be real brittle about any kind of negative talk. You know what I mean? It's quite fascinating, to be honest. It's very fascinating that they seem to not be able to, deal with any kind of criticism. It's kind of weird to me. Very, very brittle fan base. They can't take anything. I mean, they have the least to show for it, so that's kind of weird. Kind of weird shit to me. But we are going to get into it. So here's the thing, right? Those are the topics, right? Those are the topics for today. And I probably want to sound different because I'm using my old headset. I was like really tired of this swishing sound. Always, it was just weird. Anyway, going to my story time for today. It's not anything sexual or provocative this time around, but what it is concerning. There's a kid. He's 29 years old. I don't even know if I should call him a kid because really you're a full-on adult. And this kid has this diplomatic way of handling things. And we got into like a pretty pretty big conversation regarding the N-word, the slang variant, and the actual N-word. And this kid is Asian. And I didn't want to be like a know-it-all and be like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I did want to kind of explain to him. I was so passionate about this. I was late for work, 2 hours late, because this kind of really concerned. I mean, we can kind of throw our vacation time anywhere. So that's why I'm not really too concerned about it. But it was very concerning that a 29-year-old thought like this. And he literally told me that I said that the N-word did not originate in the United States. You know what I mean? That's what I told him. I was like, he really thought that it came from the United States. And he lives in a rich town, so he's totally fucking secluded. It's really weird. It's so weird. But he thought that the N-word didn't originate in the United States, was bizarre to me. What's going on, Ken? It was so fucking bizarre. And he goes to try to tell me the origin of the N-word. And I had to tell him, I said, as a black person, I'm telling you where it came from. You know, Niger or Negro is where it came from. Either Latin or Spanish, or you know, you got your Latin variants there. And I said originally it was about black. You know, it was a way for them to describe the slaves. And at that time, it wasn't negative. It was just because every civilization had their own slaves, but it was supposed to be there exclusively to define what slaves are what. And for some reason, it got morphed into subhuman. And I was like, that's not what the original word came from. It's just black. And it's just that's what the slave owners in the United States they would lean towards for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? And that became a slang itself. So he goes on record and he's like, well, I kind of wish, I didn't even see you there. He goes on and he says that it's just, I couldn't, what's going on, Ken, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. The fuck you in here talking about, man?
You know, my story time. One time, you know, I do a little 10 minutes of story time. So I had this conversation with this Asian kid. I think I was telling you about it. And well, telling you about the kid. And the dude is Asian, and he proceeds to tell me how he doesn't want anyone to use nigga anymore because he feels like it's such a bad word.
Are you talking about the dude that you saw at the gym?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ordering something again?
No, I came to the store to get some more seltzer water, man. I'm on my way back to my house.
Got you. You go to the gym? What's going on, Hector? What's going on, Fatal? I could not believe this kid really tried to tell me where the word nigger came from. And how he tells me that he wants this to be covered up. No one should use the N-word in any variant. And I'm telling him, I said, I don't think anyone should erase history at all, ever. What's going on, sons? That's what I told him. I said, no one should use that word anymore, like at all. That's what he was telling me. And I was like, I think that it should be known where the origins came from. And then he says, no, I think you should get rid of it. And what was alarming about this whole 2-hour conversation is that this kid truly believed that everyone has their own personal truths. And I'm like, you have to have some sort of universal law to bring order to things. Like, I understand that you want the world to be a better place. And you don't like that word to be used even amongst the black community. But holy shit, you can't erase it. Because humans have the propensity to repeat history.
You know, there was actually a book written on that called The Fate of Empires. I think I told you about it before. But the topic of the book was how you would think that people with all of the recorded history would learn from their history. But The only thing in history that is kind of like conclusive is that people never learn from their history.
It's always the same thing. And the reason why I had to tell him the origin of the word nigger is to tell him that it wasn't made out of malice. It was just a way to define slavery. It got warped into that. So if you erase history, what makes you think that it's not going to get warped again and the same cycle repeats itself? I say, how about this? You know the ice cream man, that little, how does the ice cream jingle go again?
Oh man, it's been years since I've heard it, bro. To be honest with you, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, whatever that shit is. I said there are lyrics to this 1912 or 1916 song. It is based off of racism. And I'm like, they didn't erase that, did you? But you want to know what's funny about this? What is very interesting about this shit is that does the word mean anything if you don't remember where it came from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wanted somebody to erase it, but it's a possibility that it may start again. Then we start talking about the Germans and the Jewish people and how if you go to Germany, they act like that whole Holocaust never happened. You know what I'm saying?
You know, people have a tendency like when they look back on history to always look at you know, the positive things. You know what I mean? They always look at how the people who founded their country were patriotic and courageous and stuff like that, but they never look at the failures. You know,
that's how you learn
what made the country what it is. But that's the thing, yeah. You know, see, and like I was saying, the book that I just mentioned goes into that. You know, the whole idea that there are a lot of bits of history that are kind of like secluded from mainline education. Right. So a lot of people don't know about it, you know? So it doesn't do anybody any good, man, to
erase history.
Erase any part of
I'm not saying erase it. I'm not saying erase it, but you know you just can't yell cunt in the movie theater. Like just make it so that, you know, people don't use it anymore. It's negative. I'm like, bro, that shit warps and changes. At one point, it was cool to hang black people and then look at them dangling off the trees. At one point, that was a cool thing. He was like, well, we weren't as civilized back then. I was like, the same shit was going to happen again with this fucking vaccine shit. People were like, oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. No, I just don't want to take that one. You know what I'm saying? So it was just pretty crazy. That was my story time for the day. What's going on, Thrash? Yo, you want to get in on this? Let me invite you.
What's going on, man?
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot? Let me stop.
I'm trying not to make too much noise because I'm moving around in my car and stuff. I'm trying to head back home.
No. I invited. So we're going to jump right into the topics here. We're going to try to do things in order. The meat and potatoes of this shit was very interesting. And I'm just kind of sick of it, right? So we got two things. I'm gonna try to kill the two topics that's not about the salty Xbots and then go to the salty Xbots. So the first thing I want to talk about before we start getting into the fandom of Microsoft and Xbox is Kojima Productions. What the fuck's going on with that? If this is the acquisition that everybody was talking about, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm mildly disappointed. I wanted something bigger, better. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Thrash?
It was good, bro. Chilling, my nigga. Chilling. You know how it is. That I come by and listen, support the homie. You know what it is.
Oh, like you always do, man. Like you always do. What you guys say about this Kojima? But I saw you earlier, yo. Somebody got you. They were like, yo, they already own that shit. That's not a third party. But the Kojima shit, though, in that banner. What you guys say about that shit?
Hey, well, I told you, dog. Like I made a video on this shit. What, 6 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
I told y'all already, bro. Sony picked them up. They just keeping quiet about it, bro. They changed their banner. That banner is based on the studio IPs, not the the studios, not the IPs. It's PlayStation Studios is the whole banner. The whole part of that page is based on Sony PlayStation Studios, not the IPs. Go look it up. The link is there.
No. I know this, but I never really looked into it like that at all.
Look at every single game there is made by their first party studios. Kojima's, they had that same banner there, but Kojima Studios wasn't there. Death Stranding wasn't there. They added Death Stranding to it now. So it's like,
so you can't really just say that, oh, it's their IP.
You can say, I never said it was their IP. I said it was Kojima's IP. I said that Kojima isn't owned by Sony and all this shit, but now looking at this, it's not that Sony owned the IP, it's that Sony owns the whole company.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. For the naysayers that say, oh, this is just IPs.
No, that whole part is based on studios. Yeah, it's just
this ain't it. Yeah, it's the studios and what that studio represents is what this is.
That's what that is. The studios. That's the only studio there that they haven't announced that they own. They could have had plenty of second party games there. Destruction All Stars could have been. They could have had that list just there, fucking gigantic, if they wanted to. Like just all type of their second party shit that they paid somebody to have. But no. Kojima's the only one there that and Death Stranding is. Those are the only ones there that, and as far as the PlayStation Studios go, is the only one that Sony hasn't announced on buying. But I already know they bought them because when you turn
you did say that. You was like, I know somebody that knows somebody that told me about this shit.
Yeah, well, no, that was the Kojima. I mean, the Konami part where I know somebody who knows somebody who told me that they bought all three of Castlevania, Metal Gear, and Silent Hill.
Well, basically, look. Did you see the interview with the blue box? That looks strangely similar to PlayStation Studio icon.
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it. You talking about Colin Moriarty?
Yeah, that I didn't see it all. I seen like snippets. That shit looked crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make any sense.
I'm telling. None of this. I think that's some
man.
Yeah, I think that's some rules too.
I think that whole thing with Blue Box is bullshit, man. I'm not going to be the one to say that a Silent Hill or even Kojima, man. But some of that shit he was saying in those interviews, man, just doesn't fucking add up at all. At all.
I didn't watch the interview, but I can tell that it just furthers my point that he's not. This game is fake. I think this is Kojima. I think this is Kojima about just doing the same thing with Moby Dick Studios, but just got even deeper. Where he, instead of doing it himself like he did with Moby Dick Studios, doing it himself, he got a whole actor. I mean, at the end of the day, Colin Moriarty didn't ask the right questions. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even watch it. I know he didn't ask, where's the staff? That's all he got to ask. Where is Blue Point?
Well, before you say that, go ahead and watch it. I don't think, to be honest with you, it fell apart immediately. You didn't even have to ask him about where's the staff at. It just fell apart. Like everything he was asking made
no sense.
And you gotta look at that. I know you're good with analyzing shit. Mm-hmm. When you look at that shit, it's a lot to take in off of how fugazi this shit looks. And it's not even film. This shit looks completely artificial, man. All of it. The whole interaction didn't even make any sense. Like the dude looked like he was drunk. I'm like, what the fuck wrong with this dude?
This nigga was nervous. This nigga is like, why are we just showing him? Why is it only him and Blue Box Studios following each other? Why isn't there the staff of Blue Box Studios?
Where is the rest of the people?
Where is the rest of the people? That's just the key. Like, and then on top of that, like if you look at the assets and he's making excuses on how the assets is made, and everybody was finding out that it was just like basically people just ripping shit from the assets of Unreal Engine. And it's like, bro, because it's not a real game. They're just putting shit together to make it. Basically, they're making trailers. That's what they're doing. And I believe that the holdup of this shit, I guarantee you, when this Kojima shit come out, that's when we're gonna start seeing. I still believe it's a Kojima thing. People don't believe it.
Oh, no. If you don't believe that shit, people want to sit there, especially some of these media outlets. So I don't want to dig too deep into that, but I just want to get your take on this. The media outlets, oh yeah, the fanboys are so crazy. They're saying that this is the Kojima. Man, this shit look crazy.
Yo, even that thing about because I think he went on Twitter, man, and he mentioned that he wasn't affiliated with any publishers. I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? That shit didn't make any sense because the game was announced officially on PlayStation's official YouTube page. You know what I'm saying? They had a whole fucking blog post posted about the details of the game. They had an app published on the on PSN. You know what I'm saying? And then they even advertised the game as a PlayStation exclusive. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me that he had absolutely no affiliation with the publishers. And I feel like Sony's silence is more telling as well. You know what I'm saying? Because if you assume, right, that he did have some affiliation with the publishers, then Sony would have known all about that shit. They would have known about the development cycle. They would have known about everything for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And for them to say absolutely nothing with as much of a shit show that this fucking game is, I don't believe it, man. Not for a second. There's some bullshit going on with that game.
Now, we're going to move on to the Halo engagement. Now, Thrash, did you see the rating? Not the rating, but the amount of people that are playing Halo right now?
No, I haven't looked. Last time I checked, it was like, oh my god. Again, it was 3,000, I think, last I checked.
The Master Chief Collection has now...
Oh, has more. I've seen that report. Yeah, sadness. I mean, but fucking heck, Cookie Cutter Simulator having more, bro. Like, Cookie Cutter Simulator.
But every time we speak about this, every time we speak about how weird this looks, right, for somebody to be capping for this, right, we get called out as being fanboys, like rabid fanboys. And all we're doing is saying, yo, you really should want more. Like, for me personally, everyone knows Horizon is one of my favorite IPs, man. You know what I want? I want them to add a blocking and lock-on feature for the Melee. You know what I mean? I want better for whatever. You know, Gran Turismo, I want to play that shit offline. It's inexcusable to not play it offline. I don't give a fuck if you transform it into a game as a service. I want to play the game offline in a real full capacity, not like an arcade mode. I want to be able to upgrade my cars and shit like that. You know what I mean? We want more. There's some things I'll call out. I know that the way of the future is going to be games as a service. And I've already spoke about like how they kind of like they're trying to recoup their money and shit like that. But that's not excusable to release certain things like the Gran Turismo like that. I'm not going to sit there and give it a 0. It's not a 0. The game's a 9. But I'm still pissed off about that situation. I'm not going to sit there and bomb the fucking game just because of that. In terms of Horizon, I'm not going to sit there and get pissed off. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and be like, this is the perfect game ever. It has no fucking flaws.
No, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? That's nonsense. But when you talk about the fanboys, the Xbots, you can't say nothing about that shit without being called a fucking fanboy. All because what if I wanted to jump into fucking Halo? I can't jump in there like that.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody trying to buy no $500, $400 console, $500 console and play third party. I already have a console. Both of these consoles are relatively the same in power, and I'm being nice. Relatively the same in power, so I don't need a third party system. But you know what? If I wanted to play fucking Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, I need to buy a Switch. It's just there's a couple of things right before, and then I'll let you. I'm curious to see what you would think about this, right? So I wrote this down, and what I mean by salty gamers. So this is going to be pretty much the whole fucking thing. I've noticed a couple of things, and I had an asterisk with this shit. A lot of Xbots are claiming Elden Ring to be their game, as if we don't have it already. You know. They also are disseminating false information, either for click. I used to think it was just for clicks, but so many people are desperate for a W, where they'll just spew out false information altogether just to get a fucking W. And then you have the Game Pass shills, which we'll talk about soon. And then the Xbox don't really fucking play games. I'm sorry, they don't. They don't really play games. And time again, it's proven that they're not playing anything, but yet they want to be a part of the conversation so badly. For what reason? Stay your happy ass on Netflix. That's what you did with the 360 era. Wasn't that what you were doing? And then you just constantly clocking ponies and Sony news. A lot of these Xbox know more about PlayStation than the average fucking person. And I'm just so baffled as to why.
Yo, it's been funny watching this shit on TV, because I seen Thrash post a couple things like cooking some of these dudes, man. with their fucking gamer scores and shit. Like, I'm like, yo, man, I played more of this shit than you did, bro. Like, what the fuck, yo?
They get mad when Thrash roast them. I got 2 different accounts. Why you looking at my shit? I'm gonna make it private. So this is one of the things I wanted to tell you, because this came up a couple of times. You know how every Xbot is shilling for Game Pass, and we've been telling them for years since this bitch came out that shit is not a viable option for AAA fucking games or any fucking thing. As long as it's not a game, if it's not games as a service, this shit don't work. And so the guy that made Soulstorm, the fucking Oddworld, I heard someone state that because it was the Oddworld situation, they were like, oh, they were just mad at the fact that the deal was a bad deal for them. And I'm like, it's not a bad deal for them. Even if the development cost $100,000. And then Sony gave them 120,000. And then the game sells 4 million. That is all of it is going to be a bad deal. Even the situation with what the fuck you call that shit again? The fucking Star Lord dude. What the fuck game was that?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. That was even if they gave him 10 million, that's still a fucking bad deal, because that game is a AAA game and using somebody's IP, which they have to pay them. So the guy says this for that made, Oddworld. He said the most we could sell is less than the money we were getting. We might sell 5 or 50,000 units at launch, and maybe 100 million or 100,000 units over time, right? It was pretty small numbers because there wasn't a lot of PS5s. And the funny thing is, you could have gotten your money back because you did release that shit months later on the Xbox Series X. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying? They could have combined it too. He says Soulstorm was initially slated to launch in January, but ended up moving back to April. The delay meant that Soulstorm quickly became the most downloaded game on PS5 for free. Because Soulstorm slipped to April, we had the highest downloaded game on PS5, and it was, I think, approaching close to 4 million units or something like that for free, because they were all subscriptions. And for us, that was devastating. Thrash, what you gotta say about that?
Wait, my bad. About what part?
I'm gonna read the last bit again. This is the homie that did the Oddworld game, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He says because Oddworld slipped to April, right? Mm-hmm. We had the highest downloaded game on PS5. It was about 4 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like that because it was free because of all the subscriptions. And for us, it was devastating. And we were talking about Game Pass again, but not in the traditional sense. So what you gotta say about that?
Well, it's like I said, man, and I've been saying it for the longest, and Xbox fans have been saying the opposite. In fact, I was checking fucking Post Up because he had his podcast was talking about this, saying that, I told y'all Sony is doing bad, Sony is killing games and Sony services and all that, and what you probably gonna say now? And I'm like, bro, we've been saying the same thing about Game Pass and any game that going day and date. Sony said the same thing about day and date games going day and date. He had 4 million players, and usually you motherfuckers on the Xbox side will be fucking cheering that on. Yes, we got this many players. Yes, it's successful. No, players don't mean anything about success, my nigga. It depends on how much money they are getting, and that is the measurement of success. Either it's from sales or how much money they got from the carrier. The guy who made this Soulstorm shit made a mistake in his contract with Sony, and Sony got over on his ass. Period. Point fucking blank. That's how business is. It's always somebody trying to get over on somebody. It's never trying to be even in gaming, even with us versus Sony, us versus Xbox, Nintendo. We're trying to get over on them. They're trying to get over on us, right? That's just how it is. That's why you hear people talk about deals and wait till a game go on sales. That's basically you saying, I'm going to get over on you for this product that you made. And the same thing goes for them. And that's what happened in that deal. Sony got over on them, just like Microsoft got over on People Can Fly, or Square Enix got over on People Can Fly, just like MLB is getting over on Sony with MLB The Show and the Game Pass shit. So, I mean, services aren't great for games, and we've been preaching this shit forever. I don't know how long, Josh, how we've been talking about this shit, man. I don't know how long. We've been said these services are bullshit. These services do not help gaming. They do not help gamers. They help these publishers and these bigger companies. They barely even help developers. And now we're seeing fruit tape. But what's sad about it is that they only want to talk about it when it happens to Sony. You know what I'm saying? They want to now all of a sudden we want to talk about it. But like IGN putting this whole shit out. But you know, when everybody else is talking about players, they're quiet as fuck. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about players on the Xbox side. It's quiet as fuck. Halo, 20 million players, but nobody want to talk about how there's like only 10,000 left all together out of 20 million. But nobody wants to talk about that. And then now that whole studio is breaking the fuck down, and they announce another studio that's coming in to help them continue this game. It's so many people have left 343 that they have to further invest in bringing in this outsourced company to help them even more in a deeper way. They were already helping them, but now that they're losing all these people, they have to come in and help these people. And the same thing with the initiative. And you can just slowly see shit breaking the fuck down. Playground Games need help with an RPG, even though that Microsoft owns Bethesda, who is number one in the industry with RPGs. I'm not number one, but they have their chops in RPGs with Skyrim and Fallout and all that. They make RPGs, so why would Fable be a problem if they have the people there? But it's because the money. It's like it's just not. Shit's not flying. You're not being managed right, and everything is going to hit the fan. All type of shit is going to hit the fan. Xbox fans have been enjoying a $1 discount on this Game Pass for 4 years now, straight 4 years. You can get in for $1, and they've been cheating that fucking system by making new accounts and taking that $1 and making that new account their main account, to where they can put their real main account as secondary and still get Game Pass. And it's just all this shit's going to hit the fan, and services is going to crash and burn. And it might, if these companies keep going after it, they're going to make gaming as a whole crash once again, like the ET Atari days.
And speaking of which, hold on, give me 1 second, Ken. Speaking of which, right? For the people that's going to bring up Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Because that's always a fucking thing. Oh, they said that they're enjoying. What was the fucking thing? They're expanding their audience. So one of the things that I hate when people take things out of fucking context. This shit bothers me to no fucking end. Now, the guy says this from one of the producers from Guardians of the Galaxy. He says this, for me, it's all about creating the game. What I love right now is that people, especially with Game Pass, are playing it and they are sharing the experience. Does that sound like fucking making money to you?
Not at all.
There ain't nobody making money doing that shit. Even if people were exploring and playing your game, where's your money as a developer? And then people want to look at me and say, well, but people are experiencing the game. This is why things are going towards games as a service, and you get microtransactions all over the fucking place. Because of everything, right? Everything that's going to a service type game, everything that's going to like a Game Pass or a PlayStation, but whatever subscription service, they're going to have to recoup the amount of games that's in a service or content that is in a service is designed to bolster that service. It doesn't really affect the actual developer unless they have something to supplement their game for being basically given away, which would be microtransactions. If you look at the pie grabs of, well, I have to say Sony because Microsoft doesn't show their shit. When you look at the pie graphs of Sony, most of their money, a good chunk of it, is coming from microtransactions and DLC. I don't understand what the fucking what the problem is. Like, why is it so difficult? What you were going to say, Ken?
Yeah, because that whole thing about the Oddworld thing, man. Here's my thing, right? Because I think it's a caveated conversation. In terms of them saying that the game was devastating for them, man. Obviously, that's coming from the perspective that their game didn't sell. You know what I mean? But you also have to look at the fact that they had 4 million people who engaged with their game. You know what I mean? So to me, right, in a way, it was a failure in the sense that they didn't hit their mark in terms of sales, but it wasn't a failure in the sense that there was a lot of fucking people that actually tried to play their game. So to me, right, in my opinion, when I look at it, I think there just needs to be a pivot, basically.
Meaning what?
Meaning that I think that if they try, I believe that if they try to put these single player games that don't have any kind of supplement in terms of like how to recoup the money in terms of microtransactions, live as a live service or whatever, that shit's probably going to die. You know what I'm saying? Because in order to support a big, AAA game or probably just any single player game in general, you need a lot of people, man, in the service to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
people love to say don't count Netflix. I'm like, Netflix has 240 million subscribers. And they are not making money really. So you got some noise in the background, man. Like somebody's talking or something.
I'm trying to turn it down. Go ahead.
So if you got that shit going on, right? What makes you think 50 fucking million or 25 fucking million is going to make a fucking profit when these games cost way more than the shows that are on Netflix? I don't understand it. Thrash, what do you think will make this? Let me ask you this. This is the question that Xbots don't ask. What do you think that would make a service like Game Pass successful?
By releasing A games and A games only. Basically lowering the cost of what your game is, make it multiplayer full of microtransactions. That's the only way you're going to make money off of it. That's the only way possible. That's how Fortnite makes their money. Fortnite makes it to where their game is addicting and it keeps on growing. They're ultra unrealistic, and because of that, they can do anything they want. Well,
yep.
You got Will Smith in the fucking game, bro. Like, you got fucking Spider-Man, Carnage, fucking Aloy, Master Chief. I think Drake is in there. Spider-Man, like in Fortnite, you can do anything you want. You can't do that in a game like Halo, And in order to make money in that way, you have to be able to not only draw millions and millions of people concurrent, well, not concurrently, but just millions and millions and millions of people to come in there, at least with 200,000 concurrent. You also need to keep them there for years. You know what I'm saying? And in order to do that, you have to have a full-on plan on how the fuck you're gonna make these people stay. And with Fortnite and with Apex, there's changes on the gameplay and changes on the pop culture, especially with Fortnite. Fortnite is genius because it's so pop culture. Nigga, when in-game was big and the Avengers was big and in-game was going down, who they put in the game? Thanos. You know what I'm saying? They're having whole fucking what do you call that shit? Concerts inside of fucking Fortnite. When you look at Apex, Apex is automatically giving you extra content when you add a new character. Same thing with Overwatch. They have new characters with new abilities, yada yada yada. Games like Halo don't have this type of shit. Halo can't put a fucking Will Smith in there, motherfucker. They don't even want to put Brutes. They didn't want to put their own characters in their freaking game. You know what I'm saying? Just a grip of Master Chiefs running around with different armor elbows. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't really think about what was going to attract people to stay on their game, to give them time to continue to drip feed you bullshit. In between the drip feed, you got to have something that's going to keep them going, and Halo doesn't have that. So in order for Game Pass to be successful, they would have to make games in the service that's in the service. So like they're gonna have a service game in a service, and it's gonna have to be a game. It's gonna have to be made as cheaply as possible in order for them to not spend too much money, because they're giving these games away. It's not going to be sustainable to spend $200 million on a game just to give it away for $15 a month, when that $15 a month is shared with 400 other motherfuckers. Not to mention you're competing with those 400 other motherfuckers.
Here's the thing, too. What people fail to understand is they think Microsoft has all the money in the world, and they do. They can continue to do this over and over and over again and waste money and not really go bankrupt. But what they're forgetting, we're talking about a successful model. People only have certain amount of time to dedicate to anything. You know what I'm saying? So why, if you're going to have a very popular game, so let's say Microsoft made their own Fortnite, right? Why buy all of those different other developers, or, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're going to try to have multiple models. But Microsoft doesn't invest. Like Halo would have been their marquee. You know, if they did it correctly, they could have easily made this shit into something, but they just seemingly not. They don't know how to manage their own shit. It's insane to me. And what
it was half-assed. That's what it was.
And because they're not in it really. I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe disrupt. I still don't know what they're trying to do. But when I look at the situation, when you say what you're saying right now, Thrash, I can't hear fanboyism. I can't hear that. When I'm speaking, when Ken is speaking, and where there's the typical community, especially from the round table, are speaking, it doesn't sound like a fanboy thing. This is not necessarily legitimate concerns, but it's sheer logic. The model doesn't work. Are you that desperate for a W, but you're not playing any games? I don't understand.
You know what? I'll say this, man. I don't think the model works in the sense where, like what Microsoft is doing, where they're trying to convert everyone to play through their subscription model. You know what I'm saying? That I don't think it works because not every game is going to function in a service. You know what I'm saying? You can't have, $100 million game or whatever, right? Drop into a service and expect to make money off of it. People are not incentivized to buy because people keep saying like, oh, it encourages sales. No, it doesn't. If you have a fucking game, if you have a game that drops into a service for fucking whatever, $10, $15, you're not going to go out and buy the shit, especially if it's like 60, 70 bucks. You know what I'm saying? I think this whole thing with Oddworld showed that, but it shows as well that there's a lot of people that might engage with it. So I think that falls more in the realm of like something like a live service game. You know what I'm saying? And see, Microsoft, I don't know, man. It seems like Microsoft is just all over the fucking place, man. They want to cater to every fucking body, and it just doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? See, that's why I like what Sony's doing, because they're not trying to funnel everybody through their service. You know what I'm saying? What they're doing is they're making it supplemental to the gaming experience that you already have. You know what I mean? And they already said that they're trying to make whatever these 10 live service games. That makes a lot more sense to me, man.
And hiring Bungie to try to learn how to properly do it.
Think about this, man. Because remember you were telling me, right? I think it was like a week or so ago. You were telling me that fucking Assassin's Creed sold, what was it, like 1.8 million copies or whatever?
I think it's like 2. Yeah, I was just say 2 million, and that's across all of those platforms, all over.
All of the platforms, right? You look at the revenue and what they made. That shit was over $1 billion in revenue. You know what I'm saying? They made a lot of that money back in microtransactions. That's what fucking happened. You know what I'm saying?
Let me just interject here when it comes to Ubisoft in general. As many people that say that they don't like the Ubisoft formula, it's boring. They don't like open world games. And then on top of it, Elden Ring selling like 12 million within a month, whereas Assassin's Creed sold 2 million on multiple PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and still only mustered 2 million. And then at the end of the day, sell $1 billion for microtransactions. I think that goes without saying that you just can't throw a game on a service and call it a day. You just can't.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, too, man, you also have to have a game that people actually want to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just throw... Halo's a good example. You know what I'm saying? Halo was some half-assed game that they taught, and they expected the fucking game to live on the premise of its fucking its name. It's notoriety.
You know what, Ken? Why don't you tell everybody that's in here that you beat that game and on the hardest difficulty?
Yeah. I beat it on Legendary, yeah. My first playthrough.
So if you say, for somebody if somebody says you're a fanboy, right? You have an Xbox Series X and utilize the services and beat the game and still say what you're saying. When I listen to Xbots, I don't understand. It's so much salt and vitriol. I never understood that because they don't come at Nintendo with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I get that they may look at, I guess PlayStation ponies or teasing them or whatever the case is. But instead of you investing so much time looking up or trying to dig up dirt on another fucking fan base just to prove that you were right, like even going as far as to say that, oh, I would never support PlayStation because you have a manager that was a pedo. Like, what? What are we doing?
I understand, people when they talk about Game Pass because they're talking about the prospect of what it could be. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about like how you can have all of these games for such a cheap price and such a variety of games and all this type of shit, right? And it's just the thing is that it doesn't work for every game. You know what I'm saying? You can't drop a big fucking game into the service and expect that shit to make any money for the company, man. You know what I'm saying?
It gotta be a strategy. Sick. What you gotta say about this?
What's up, fellas? What's up? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Hopefully, I ain't got a lot of background noise or whatever.
No, I don't hear any background noise.
Yeah, you good.
I can hear you.
Cool. All right, so I guess starting out with the people who made All World Soulstorm, that is actually a really funny story, and I actually laughed when I read what was going on. They didn't have faith in their own game. That was their issue. Their issue is that they thought getting upfront money was better than what the back end money would be. And then they found out the hard way that they had more potential people who would have possibly bought it, and they would have made a lot of money had they not put it in the service day and date.
So they were salty. They were salty. This whole article.
I don't think they were salty. I think the way people are spinning this is something totally different than what they were trying to convey, the message that they were trying to get across. The message they were trying to get across is that they didn't know this game was going to be as popular as it was. They took upfront money to put the game into the service. And then after doing so, they felt remorse because they was like, oh shit, this could have been actual fucking sales versus a whole bunch of people trying our shit out damn near for free. That's basically what they were saying. They weren't shitting.
I didn't even look at it at that way because to be honest with you, I skimmed it and just saw what I needed to see because I was kind of taking it on the subscription. But now that you say it, because I think it is a little bit of salt in there though, Sick. Because I really don't. Because they said they expect 50.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I don't think that there was salt in there. I think that there was remorse, and I think they feel like they made a bad decision by throwing it in the service, right? But I don't think they were necessarily talking shit about PlayStation.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think it's about talking shit. I think it's like, damn, I feel salty I shouldn't have never used that avenue.
No, you're right there. My bad.
You know what I think it is as well, man. I think they just realized that there was a trade-off to it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, because they mentioned it in the interview, or the article, whatever, that they had to trade off more sales for it's more stability in the service, whereas then they could have had more upfront profit, in turn for a higher risk, if the game failed or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? So I think they were just acknowledging.
It was the pandemic, and they felt like people weren't going to be able to get PlayStations, bruh. And it was like, yo, you know what? Instead of, banking on our own shit and, being proud of the work that we created, let's just go ahead and accept this money that they're trying to give us up front, right? Now, my thing is, if they truly did have about 4 million downloads, I think that there should have been some sort of clause or something within the contracts that they signed that said that they should maybe possibly receive, some sort of bonuses or perks based on how many people actually try out the game or whatnot. But that was on them to not actually try and put some sort of clause in there like that. But I do think if it was something that was successful in the service, that they should be rewarded for that game being put in the service if they know that what they paid was basically some super discount shit. You know what I'm saying? But as far as
it happens like that in the music industry all the time too, like where you get that first. They give you that, especially if you make instrumentals or beats, you'll get that money up front, or you get the royalties. Right. So, like, if you look at it this way, they were only expecting how much, Ken? 500,000?
50 to 100,000.
No. Yeah, it was 100,000.
Geez. Yeah. You know what they could have done, though? In that time, if they didn't put it in the service, they probably would have gotten $1 million.
They would have gotten at least $1 million for people who were curious and for the nostalgia factor of people who played the game previously.
Ooh, I would have been salty too. I would have been real salty about that shit.
But here's the thing. You want me to tell you why I don't feel sorry for them, though? I don't feel sorry for them because they didn't believe in their own product. That's why I don't feel sorry for them. Studio MDHR, the people who made Cuphead, they didn't take none of them backdoor deals. They didn't take
they could have
nothing.
Because didn't Game Pass exist at that time?
Yeah, it existed at that time. They could have put it in a Game Pass service. but they didn't. They banked on themselves. They knew that they made a quality product, and they banked on themselves, and it worked out, and it paid great off. It paid off great for them. You know what I'm saying? So
All
that's
right.
why I don't feel sorry for them. They didn't take all this money from fucking Microsoft. As a matter of fact, the motherfuckers refinanced their house. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Because
shit,
they
I did hear
believed in
that.
themselves. They believed in themselves. The thing is, these people with Oddworld, they didn't believe in their product. They took 50 to 100,000 unit sales or whatever as a payout, and then got mad that almost 4 million people played their game. That's because you made the wrong fucking bet. And me personally, like I said, I bought the game. You know what I mean? I appreciate what they bring to the indie world, and I appreciate odd world games. Whether people like it or not, that's subjective. I enjoy the game. But at the same time, I'm not gonna sit up here and feel bad for them because they feel like they should have made more. Then you should have made a better deal.
Or they should have just released it standard. This is why people say what they say about subscription services. Because again, it seems to be mostly a bad deal for the developers and not the company. Now, people can say, why do you care about the developers? Because bitch, if the developers don't fucking exist, or if they, you know what I'm saying? If they close the fuck down, then what the fuck are you playing exactly? You know what I'm saying? So it gotta be some sort of balance in terms of that.
You
Do you
know, I
believe sick? Do you believe sick that they're gonna if they make a Soulstorm 2 and like fix all the little issues that they had, do you think they're gonna put it on Game Pass or anywhere else?
To be honest with you, I don't even know what the issues were, bro. Like when that game initially came out, I was playing that game like crazy, and I really can't tell you what the actual issues were.
For me, the tutorial for it, I just couldn't be bothered with the digging into it for the tutorial. But that's me. But I'm saying, do you
Let me
think
ask you a question. Did you play Odd World games prior to this one?
I played the Vita one, but that was the 3D one, and that played differently. And then years ago, I can't remember. I played like a demo back when I was like 13 years old or some shit like that. And that's the only real memory that I had. It's like from that time back in the 90s. And then I picked up the one for the Vita. It was on Xbox or something like that. And they made it for the Vita. So I picked that one up just to kind of play with it. And I liked it. I didn't have any problems with it. And it was just like a little quick game that I could play on, wherever I was, if I was doing laundry or whatever. And I would just play that to not get fully into it. But I guess the question I have, Sick, or anybody for the matter, do you think that they're going to put the second one, the sequel, if they make one, on any kind of subscription service?
No. And I'm glad that this didn't work out for them. I'm glad that they have a sour taste in their mouth about these services because we've had this conversation plenty of times where we have talked about how these services aren't really good for the industry, period.
bro, we've been saying this shit for a long ass time, man.
But
Yo,
anytime somebody says something, we are all fanboys for saying that. I don't think that this is the way to go. Every fucking time.
It's common sense though, dog. Like it's truly, truly common sense. You can even ask Thrash. We was talking about this shit, and certain people were getting absolutely frustrated and mad and upset
Big
about
facts.
us saying this about these services when it only makes sense. And when I attribute it to the economy of like neighborhoods and shit, people couldn't understand why I felt that way. Like, dog, this is just video games, bro. This ain't real life. Bro, it works based off of the same shit, dog.
Yeah, man.
You get what you put out, dog. You get back what you put out, dog. If you live
You,
in a neighborhood that don't really fucking pay taxes, nigga, your roll is gonna be full of potholes.
you know what I think though, man? I see the whole thing about the services, man. I don't really think that that they necessarily have to go away. I think the problem is that people are trying to make them take over what we already do. You know what I'm saying? I think that they can exist, obviously. You know what I'm saying, but not in the sense where it's like that's how we're going to consume our gaming experience, like overall. Yeah, it just doesn't work in that way. It works well.
What you're saying, Ken, to just simply simplify what you're saying, give the games a 3 to 6 month breathing room and then put them in the fucking service. You give them time to make money or make sales or whatever sales they're gonna muster up within that time frame, and then people who weren't gonna buy it anyway could enjoy the shit in the service after the fact, bro. Don't put your expensive ass game into to an indie developer. Hell, $1 million is probably super expensive to them. Don't put your expensive ass game in a service and then get mad because people would rather pay the company who created the service versus you, the person who
See,
created the game.
It looks crazy when I see this shit because it's like, did the developers not see how much money they would actually lose out on?
No,
Or just throwing their shit for free?
I think this is what he saw. All right, this is what kills him is that he took money from Sony. Right, that's what it is. He took money from Sony. That was the contract deal. That's why his game is on the service in the first place. He got money head up, and like Six said earlier, they just didn't believe in their product. Now, what's playing with their mind is that they have 4 million people get it for free. Right? They're like, fuck, we're only going to be there for a month, so it shouldn't hurt us too much. He sees 4 million, and then he sees that shit stop. Right? So he's looking at that money that he got from Sony and what he would have made from 4 million in sales. 4 million in sales. That's just him assuming they would have sold 4 million. 4 million people downloaded it because they already have PS Plus. But he's looking at it like, damn, 4 million people downloaded it. What if they sold it? How much does it cost right now? Like $39 or some shit? Like multiply that by 4 million.
I think it was less than that, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it could be less than that. But multiply
that's why he's devastated because he's like, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah, because he sees that Sony got the better part of the deal. They got their service to get people on there, and 4 million people were interested, and they basically are paying the service, and not him in his game. He took this lump sum, which could have been $500,000, the cost of what it cost to make the game. So I think at the end of the day, what's need to happen with these fucking things is they can exist, sure, but these people need to stop trying to make it mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Exist in the background like backwards compatible. That's all they should be. It's just for old games. They should not be for new games at all. Day and date sounds nice, but it just disrupts the circle of money that's being paid and used to utilize new games and new development and to pay these developers to pay their bills and eat. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
I got something to say about that when you're done.
Oh, go ahead. You can go say it. Go ahead.
No, I was in here taking a piss, y'all. I didn't want to get to.
Oh, you can't do that. Well, shit. I'm just saying. That's all it is to me. It's that these services help the company, Sony, Microsoft, whatever. It doesn't help the developer, and we shouldn't be behind that because the developers are the ones that help us. The only thing that these companies are the middleman. We buy their console. That console is literally the middleman for the games we play. You know what I'm saying? Like the consoles is shit without the games, and the games need the consoles to work. These stores that these companies are in belong to Sony, which is the middleman. Instead of them coming straight to us, they have a middleman, and the middleman is winning off of this, not the gamers and not the developers. The middleman is the one that's getting all the attention, and now these developers are going to start making games made to impress the middleman because the middleman, if this was to go mainstream, the middleman would be the main source of income, no longer us. You know what I'm saying? Our control as far as talking with our wallets would be out the fucking door because it's Sony and Microsoft using their wallets, not us. You know, so these development teams are going to start making games based on what would help Sony sell or Microsoft sell the subscription service that they have. It wouldn't be about selling us because the game is fucking awesome. It'd be about selling to them because this game will help their services sell. And that's
make it look nice. And the thing is, with media, and I'll let Ken talk after me. The media, we have an entitlement problem as people, especially in the U.S. I mean, I don't know when is this after this pandemic. It's just I shouldn't say it's been a long time, but it's egregious now that people just expect shit to happen, expect it to be free, expect it to have no flaws, expect it to cater to them. I want my Souls games with a fucking tutorial, easy mode, all this other shit. Now these developers are making all these accessibility shits. I gotta cater to every fucking body because of the entitlement is through the roof. Not everything is for everyone, and especially these subscription services. This is not a fanboy talking. You can be salty all day and all night, Xbots, but the truth is the truth, and it will reveal itself eventually. The problem here is that the media keeps pushing it because niggas want free shit. That's what it boils down to. You can't, free or damn near free, essentially. And there is penalties and there is a cost. There is repercussions for shit like that. You can't have it for free. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you one question, Josh. When it comes to Game Pass, bro, what have Game Pass owners won?
Nothing, really. I'm sorry. It's nothing. The games that were on there, that's what I think. The games that were on there, we didn't even say them.
What first-party games came day and date to Game Pass?
Yeah, Forza, Halo, and Gears. And it's the same. It's been the same thing, and we haven't had a Gears in a while. I'm not talking about no DLC either. I'm talking about full ass Gears. We haven't had Halo for a while either. We just recently got it. The only thing that's
reason why I asked that question is because people are gassing this service up, and when you look back at what they've actually gotten, you're like, "Yo, nigga, y'all been paying $180 a year for this shit."
But they don't really play games. I think they that's the thing. But it's been proven multiple times by Thrash and others that are doing it as well, that they don't play games, but they are always on social media, always looking at what another company is doing instead of worrying about what you are a fan of. No, they didn't get anything. And when I asked somebody this, I said, okay, what did Microsoft contribute first party to their own service? They said it was a loaded question for me asking such things. It was loaded. And I'm like, loaded for what? And I say in the 6 years or 5 years that it was out, how many Microsoft games? That doesn't make any sense. That's a loaded question because they had all these third-party people. Answer the question.
Okay. Let's talk third-party shit then. What great games have they got from a third-party perspective? Outriders?
Nope.
MLB the shizzle.
Don't do it.
No. He's right with MLB The Show. That's like the most prestigious game in Game Pass.
Oh yeah, that's the only game worth $70 in Game Pass.
That's day and date. The other ones, like Game Pass functions as a. What was Hades?
Was what, like $30, $20 or some shit like that?
And it was a AA game. It was an indie game.
Tunic was what, like $30?
Yeah, I think 30 or 19. Oh no, 39. I think it was 39 for no reason. It should have been $19.
Do you see the pattern though?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the pattern of what the fuck is happening?
Mm-hmm.
But they want you to be jealous of Game Pass. Why? Nigga, I could buy this game for $20. I could buy this game for $30, dog.
The way I look at it is this is all they got, my nigga. And they breaking down because they made this everything that's going on with Xbox is due to not everything. Let me not say that, but if they would have been outspoken like they were with Don Matrick, with Phil Spencer, they would be in a better position than they are today. And because they didn't, they allowed this man to destroy this game. This console and add Game Pass and tell you, hey, it's $1 a month, but don't worry about the bullshit I'm gonna give you. Oh, we're going to give you day games. Here's Crackdown 3. And when they saw this shit, I'm starting to get mad. Hold on, let me drink my fucking water. It pisses me off. It's like, God, you see this shit.
But I'm wrong for not buying the Xbox, though, right?
What's going on, Jemiah?
I'm crazy for not buying the Xbox, though, right?
Yeah, you're super crazy. I don't know what you're thinking, not buying a console that didn't do anything for itself, let alone you. It's crazy, bro. Like, how you get a console that ain't even trying to do shit for itself? Don't make no sense. I'm just so. It's like, man, I'm looking at this shit and I'm tired of these niggas trying their best to convince me that I'm not a gamer, but they are. It's like that.
these are some Jehovah's Witness head ass niggas, yo. Like, I've never seen so much evangelizing over this service. It's so crazy. They are literally on a hope and a prayer that this service is good. And I'm not just saying that. I don't care who would have done it. Sony could have said Game Pass and had their own variant. It doesn't help gamers in the long run. It doesn't.
Nigga, that hurt their feelings. You know that hurt their feelings more than any Xbox news ever was the fact that Sony was like, no, we're not doing day and date. That shit hurt their feelings because they needed Sony to validate the bullshit they've been pushing for years. And since Sony didn't validate that shit, it's like they mad at us for not saying anything about day and date games on a service that they don't even want. And it's like, nigga, like we never wanted day and date. Like we keeping the same energy. Like, what do you own? Like, they expected us to be like, they expected Sony to be like, our games are day and date. Then they expected PlayStation fans to be like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, day and date. Eat that Game Pass. They wanted that battle because that is the only war that they have. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, man, I think that might change. Like, not in terms of day and date for the single player games. I don't think that's just going to happen. But I do think that there might be a situation where they might drop some of those live service games day and day into the service.
I don't know the service yet, maybe.
Yeah, we're not really talking about. We're talking about full on like single player games. That ain't going to happen, and it's not going to happen.
Because if it doesn't work, it's not viable.
If they're actually going to invest money into these multiplayer games, you can forget about it. If they do that day and date with those service-based games, you are going to get bare minimum, bare bones, bullshit.
It's gonna be trash. It's gonna be Halo.
It's gonna be bald-headed as shit, yo. It ain't gonna come with. You're gonna have to buy everything in that bitch.
That's why I'm worried.
Are you guys talking about Sony or Microsoft?
Sony.
I think The Last of Us 2 has already failed us. I think the multiplayer of it, like, because the way I'm looking at it now is, we bought The Last of Us 1. It came in multiplayer, right? And it had its multiplayer, it had its group of people, yada yada, and it had its microtransactions and everything.
Multiplayer came later, bro. It did not.
Did it come later?
Yes, it came later.
I don't remember it coming later, but I can't remember.
It come later. Multiplayer
it was free though, right?
One, bro. Yeah,
but it was free though, right?
Yeah, it was.
That's what I'm scared of. I'm scared that they're gonna make this. Well, they already said that they're gonna make it a standalone, right? And are they gonna charge us for it? If they charge us for it, we lost, right? And then if it's free to play based on a free to play model, we also lost. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I know for a fact, because Jim Ryan has already said this, that their games from their studios will come to PC. And I think he said day and date. I'm not sure if he said day and date, but I know that these multiplayer games will come to PC, right? That's the point. There would be no point, especially if it's free to play. No point in making a free to play game with one fucking demographic. Doesn't make sense.
Haven Studios is going to be.
It's going to be on all. But that was already. Yeah, that was already set in stone before Sony bought them. But still, I mean, I'm just saying, just in case it's, contracts involved. But I know The Last of Us wasn't. But I guarantee you, The Last of Us 2's multiplayer will be on PC, more than likely day and date. And I think it's going to be free to play. I think. If they charge for that shit, then we lost. Because I know they're going to have
if they charge for that, it's going to be a massive L, man. Because I think it would be better, obviously, for them to do it free to play. And the reason why is because I think that due to the nature of the game being a live service game, possibly, I believe that if the game is successful like they want it to be, it would recoup the money anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's why I mentioned what I mentioned earlier about what Josh was talking about the other week or whatever, about Assassin's Creed only selling sales-wise like 2 million copies, but that shit made like over $1 billion in revenue, or I forgot, it was revenue or profit.
It was $1 billion in revenue on a single player game, on multiplayer co-op parts to that game.
Whoa. What Assassin's Creed are you referring to?
Valhalla.
Which one was it, Josh? It was Valhalla, right?
Was it Valhalla?
No way in
that
hell
much?
Valhalla
Ain't no way.
only 2 million, bro.
No. It didn't
relook at
sell.
them
No.
numbers, bro.
Listen. It didn't sell 2 million altogether. We're talking about for the first week.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so that's
So
what I'm saying.
the argument. Here's the thing. The argument, the rubric that some people were making on Twitter was that if your game don't sell like 10 million or 5 million the first day, you know what I'm saying, that the game is considered a failure. And, you know, this is regarding Horizon Forbidden West, because Elden Ring sold what it sold, being multi-platform.
It's
But
weird. Wouldn't it be hard for a game? You know, my bad. Go ahead, man.
What were you saying again? What were you saying?
I just like when people talk like that, they don't know how gaming works. You know what I'm saying? Just period. Like, it's just, to me, it's like low level talk, because you don't take into consideration that this shit is on every platform except Switch. You don't take into the fact that when two games go head and head, not everybody can afford both. You don't take into account that one is $70 and one is not. You know what I'm saying?
They said PS4. They said that also that Souls games are a very niche game. So
let me ask you a question. Who did you get this logic from?
no, it's not that. Ooh, I'm just reading the shit on Twitter, just like you could. I'm just going through the shit.
From who?
Multiple people. I would say Xbots. To be honest with you, anybody that was an Xbot, they did that.
Who? Such as who?
It's too many of them to name.
Okay. So first thing that you have to think about is, if any of these niggas own an Xbox and that's their priority, their primary console, you can't listen to a single fucking thing that they say. How they gonna tell you about
sometimes you fall. Look. Sometimes you see it so much, and Kim would tell you. Some chick was like, the only thing that Horizon is a pretty game. That's what she said. She said it was just a pretty game. It was sloppy as a game with combat. What else did she say? She said that it wasn't a next generation game. She didn't say it so volatile in that way, but she was like, "What's the difference between the PS4 and the PS5 version?" You know what I mean? How can you say that this is a next generation game? And I got DM you the chick that said that shit, yo. She had me boiling, man. I was like,
all I would have said is, let's play something together, nigga. What's your fucking shit? Tell me what your shit is.
Well, all I did was a quick. So Kim was like, "Yo, go." I bet you if you go into her Twitter account to see what she does.
I could sniff that shit out when you were telling me about it, bro. I was like, I bet you that bitch was playing Elden Ring on Xbox. She was a
LGB. I'm just telling what she is. She's LGB neutral. So she had a Switch, she had a Series X, and she had a PS5. So she says that the Horizon broke her PS5, her girlfriend's PS5.
Listen,
and so
like, don't listen to these people, dog. Like this Twitter shit, all this thing. A lot of people are here just for attention, dog, and that's one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you. I'm gonna say this, but I want to say this with. I want to say this in the most neutral way that I possibly can.
Shit.
Yeah, be bubbling.
That I possibly can. I'm not a neutral, so let me be very clear about that. But I want to say this in the most neutral way, because I don't dislike Elden Ring at all, in any sense of the word. But
we got butts.
But Horizon exceeds Elden Ring in every single fucking category. Not even close.
Josh just got fucking hard. Yo, I know you did, bro.
Not even close. But this should remind you of the same shit that happened with Red Dead Redemption and God of War. The niggas who didn't have an exclusive game championed the multiplat. Same shit that they're doing with Elden Ring. Period. But again, like I said, I don't dislike Elden Ring. I enjoyed my time with Elden Ring. I am done with Elden Ring.
My thing is, and Ken tells me, he was like, yo, you should get the smoke and you should really compare the two. See, for me, when I jumped into Elden Ring, I was like, oh, this is a pretty cool area, even though it doesn't look that great. I go into the ocean. I was like, let me see what I can. This nigga
You
fell
go into the
off the
ocean?
fucking.
You didn't go into the ocean, nigga.
I
You
did
should
not.
have been dead.
I fell off the face of the fucking map without a swimming animation. He fell straight down. Didn't even bother. They didn't even bother to animate it.
I got a damage control for that, dog.
I don't want to hear it.
With the heavy ass armor they have on, bro, there's no way you swimming in that armor, dog.
They could at least made them drown like the old Grand Theft Autos. You remember the fucking GTA 3? They had a little animation where he drowned. They didn't even bother animating. This nigga fell completely off of a cliff. I was like, what's this?
Ain't got no excuse for these lanky motherfuckers in their fucking underwear and shit.
I came out there with the I was a female character with the panties and the bandages. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a little dip. First of all, it sounded like somebody hit me, and then they said because they didn't want to have a sound bite for drowning, so it sounded like somebody hit me. Like the game just was like hit him for 100% of damage, so it could just kill him because he shouldn't be there, and just say that he died, and don't even explain the reason as to why he died. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the just everything with Elden Ring is absolutely convoluted. It's silly as fuck. Nobody plays this game without looking up something about this fucking game. It's complex. It is indeed fun. But if we wanted to put these two games head to head, there is absolutely fuck all way you're saying that Elden Ring exceeds Horizon in visuals and combat. Are you fucking crazy?
It's deep though. You can build all sorts of things. You can double weapons.
Trust me.
Ooh.
I've played Elden Ring to the extent of playing fucking Elden Ring. I beat
you platinum there, right?
Yes, I got the platinum in it.
Ooh.
And I'm not again. It doesn't matter how I say it. It's always going to come out sounding like I fucking hate Elden Ring, but that is the farthest thing from the truth. Farthest thing from the truth. But if you are going to sit up here and tell me that Elden Ring has the quality that Horizon Forbidden West have, something is wrong with you. Absolutely fucking wrong with you.
Disingenuous to the max. Anybody say that shit?
It absolutely is. I'm talking about if you want to go with the combat, you can't do none of the shit you can do in fucking Horizon Forbidden West in goddamn Elden Ring.
You know what? I'm gonna say this though, and I'm gonna assume Josh's role on this one. They're not the same type of game. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to compare them, you know, combat wise and other ways too, because they're not focused on the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, people are comparing the games either way.
If you go about quality, right?
They're both open world games. They're both open world games. One has robot dinosaurs and fucking robot animals. The other one has dead things in which they are dead.
What's going on, Gamer Night? Yeah.
I mean, when I'm talking about comparing these two, I'm saying visually, when you look at Elden Ring versus when you look at Horizon Forbidden West, are you telling me that the amount of detail that went into Horizon Forbidden West is in Elden Ring? That's a simple enough question, right?
This pop
no, I don't think that's at all. I don't think that's the case at all. I'm just saying in terms of
this pop in Forbidden West, chunks of buildings pop up, you know, diminishing the experience.
The first biome of Horizon Forbidden West has more detail than the entirety of Elden Ring.
Yo, I don't even know why they're playing Thresh. I don't even know why they're playing, dog. I don't even know why they're playing like this shit is even close. When you get to the combat, the different gadgets and shit that you can use, the combos that you can actually perform with Halo, the different ways that you can traverse the lands, nigga, this nigga got a horse that gets wind shot up its ass to fucking fly up in the air, my nigga. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here, dog? Like, what are we talking
Nah,
about?
see, I don't think in terms of the detail, graphics, or anything like that. Elden Ring doesn't have anything on Horizon, man. I'm not even gonna sit up here and say that shit. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say,
let me be clear when I say this, because I know there's gonna be that one fucking idiot. It's like, oh, they're just slandering fucking Elden Ring. No, bitch. I told you this shit from the beginning. No matter how you, no matter how you slice it, if I say Horizon does something better, you're gonna say I'm slandering fucking Elden Ring. I enjoyed Elden Ring. I played the hell out of Elden Ring.
You platinum
I
the
mean,
Elden
I
Ring.
think
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think
Like,
I think Elden Ring is great in its own right. You know what I'm saying? When you start comparing both games, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like graphically, Horizon is going to look far superior than Elden Ring. You know what I'm saying?
okay. So
And
let me give you another metric to look at, right? So fuck the visuals, right? We got the visuals out of the way. We know which one looks visually better. Performance. That's not something that's subjective, dog.
no,
That is
I
not
think Elden Ring's
subjective.
performance is a lot worse. Yeah, because
They are
Horizon.
both big ass open worlds, bro. They are huge fucking open worlds, bro, with a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, it's a horrible.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah. I mean,
I'm, I'm with Chris
there's
on
no
the same
capping for
thing,
fucking.
nigga.
Yeah,
I
there ain't no capping for Elden Ring's fucking performance, man. At least
Yeah,
Horizon, man. That
I
shit.
think there's this problem of people thinking that once you say something is better than something, that means that something is trash.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that, bro. It just means that one is better than the other, my nigga. I think grape soda is better than strawberry soda. Does it make strawberry soda trash? In my mind, yes, but in reality, no. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, nigga, it just the tastes are different. They are fucking both sodas. This fucking game, Elden Ring, is a great game. I've said that shit. I had it before everybody, and I was saying this shit. And it was a great fucking game. But it just in every aspect, Horizon is just better. I can't. It's not Horizon's fault that it's better. It's the developers who made. Look, Souls games in general are great, and the only reason why this game is great is because it's an easier version of those great Souls games. And a lot of Souls games are better. Bloodborne is better than fucking Elden Ring. I'm sorry, it fucking is. If you play Souls games, you know what the fuck I'm talking about, bro. And it's just too much. Like it's like Six said in the first beginning of this shit, bro. Is niggas is gonna cap for the game that they have versus the game that they do not have, just like God of War versus Red Dead Redemption. And all these motherfuckers were surprised when God of War still won Game of the fucking year because they was pushing Red Dead Redemption and ignored all the games that came out that year. For what game came out for Xbox the same year Red Dead Redemption came out?
That
What?
shit was
Who?
legendary, by the way.
Nigga. Nobody was talking about that. No, because they knew that Red Dead Redemption was high quality. It was on the Xbox One X. It was 4K on the Xbox One X, and
I
so
was just
they were
looking at that
saying it
too.
would be best shit.
I was just looking at that too. I was looking at as it came up. I was looking at some things on Red Dead and fucking Digital Foundry. Oh, it runs at an actual 4K with temporal bit aliasing. I was like, all right, dude. I remember that shit, yo. They treated it because it performed better on the X the One X
Yeah, back then
that was
performance
exclusive.
mattered. Yeah, nowadays performance and graphics and all that shit don't matter. Tony Polico still saying dumb shit. Oh, what I'm saying, like I don't know why people are bad mouthing Elden Ring. Bitch, motherfucker, you just said Horizon didn't have bad performances and some of the graphics weren't all that. Like you were just talking about this shit. And now when Elden Ring come out, it's you ignore all of that shit. And it's like you man, like I said, dog, they're not helping gaming grow. It's okay to say Elden Ring isn't the best. Even these niggas who made Elden Ring knows that it ain't the best looking, best playing, and best Souls game that they've made. They know they know it sold a lot, but all that did was tell them that they don't gotta work hard to get our money.
That's
Period.
all it did. That's
All it
all it
did.
did. I've been trying to tell people that it was more detrimental to sweep all the problems under the rug than to really call that shit out. They sat there and said before they even beat the game that it was the best game they ever played in their life.
See, I thought about that shit too.
Anybody would have been like, went to try that shit. You'd be like,
Bro,
oh shit, really?
bro, both of these open world games came out at the same time, meaning that these niggas had review codes for these games at the same motherfucking time. Nigga, you can't tell me that they beat both of these fucking games, man.
And Horizon is
Made a
long
review. You
as
can't fucking
hell.
tell me.
Horizon is a long fucking game. A
Man,
long game.
crazy, bro. And
See,
I
like,
used to be able to do like 4 or 5 missions in original Horizon and be done within like an hour. I do one of these fucking missions and it's 40 minutes. A side mission. This is a long fucking game. So you
niggas
can't tell me you did both.
Niggas try to tell niggas that it innovated open world games, and I'm like, in what aspect? Please tell me, what new did it bring to the table? Horseback riding, nigga?
No, they said no, Thrash. They said the reason. Oh yeah, by the way, let me see here. I want to say this really quickly. Was he here? Oh yeah. So 4K, man, I would do it. I already know it's gonna extend this fucking space way longer. Because I was supposed to end this shit about like what 20 minutes ago. But what are you going to say? I guess next time or Saturday, I'll be available and just open this shit up. What were you saying? Sick? Not sick. Thrash.
Oh no, I forgot.
Yeah, I wanted to say this though, man, because this was my issue with the whole thing with Elden Ring, man. Because I think the game, like Thrash and pretty much a lot of people have said, that the game is a great game in its own right. You know what I'm saying? What I don't like is that people are sweeping all of the issues with the game under the rug. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe that From Software is getting the message that they can basically toss you a game that is basically bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to look at it this way, man. I've played all the Souls games and I love all the Souls games. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what Elden Ring did that was so much more innovative or better than any of the other Souls games. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, I'll even make the argument that there are other Souls games that did shit better than what Elden Ring did. You know? So if Elden Ring, I don't understand how Elden Ring can get so much praise while some of these other ones that did shit better than it doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
It became pop culture. It became pop culture because of a lot of different reasons, shit like that. Because of the open world definitely made it more accessible, just in general, just by nature. Because you can just be like, I can't fight this boss. Let me go somewhere else. So you could just play around in the game and just keep leveling up. Thrash made that video where you just have fucking rooms to upgrade your fucking character, just strewn all over the fucking ground. If you wanted to avoid all enemies and just pick up these fucking rooms, you'd be able to do so. Not only that, but it has such a strong community from the Souls and everybody else that'll tell you exactly what to do, what build to make. And you don't really gotta, all you have to do is just be faster. They'll tell you what to look out for, what to roll, when to roll, and all this other shit. Like, so it's not like the game was so esoteric that it didn't tell you the shit. And it's not even a grievance with it. You know what I'm saying? My biggest problem is every time when it comes to an exclusive for PlayStation, the media and Xbots essentially, they want to sit there and they want to always make them clash. God of War was not like they said Bloodborne back in the day. You probably remember this, Thrash. I didn't know you at the time, but back in 2015, they tried to make Bloodborne clash with fucking The Witcher.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was like, how, nigga? How did that work? You know what I was saying? They were saying that the combat in there, and so people were saying all sorts of shit. So every fucking time when it happens, when they release within the same time frame, is always like that. And there's just always this comparison shit. If you want to make a YouTube channel, make it about comparing two things together, man. That shit will make your shit skyrocket. That's just, people just always want to compare shit. And when it comes to third party, it automatically is Xbox's first party to them for some reason.
It's funny too, because it's like when people compare both games as well, Horizon and Elden Ring, it's like their narratives are never consistent. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like
it falls apart. The more you talk about it, the more it falls apart.
Yeah, because it's like, for example, right? You have somebody who says, "Oh, Elden Ring innovated in open world or whatever," but it's like, well, Horizon, you can't climb everywhere on the map. It's like, but in fucking Elden Ring, you can't climb at all. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's like, where's the argument with that? Where are all the people crying about that shit? You know what I'm saying? Oh no, it's just the way the game is built. It's like,
I saw somebody
like,
say that. They were like, yo, it's really weird, the climate thing. And that's why I like Elden Ring. I was like, but you can't climb in Elden Ring. And to be honest with you, Thrash, you know what they said about why Elden Ring was actually the most innovative? You know why? They said the level design. That's what they said. That's why.
So basically, the fact
That's
that
weird,
the game
though.
is
What's the level
it's an
design?
open world Souls game.
What's the level design? I mean, tell me what it did.
It's an
wrong,
open
baby?
world Souls game. That's what it is. That's
They
what
said
people
it was. They said it. They said it was
innovation because
they
you just made
said-
an
I
open
know it's
world
not.
where you can go
No,
anywhere.
they said
anytime.
they said it was. They said it was well crafted to the point where you didn't need markers anywhere. It just
Breath
led
of the
your
Wild.
eyes to the direction you
Bro,
needed
Breath
to
of the
go.
Wild did that
Breath
shit
of the
so
Wild.
much better, bro.
Man,
Breath of the Wild did that shit so much better, man.
Breath of the Wild, bro. Like they know what the fuck they on a little ass switch. You can see those towers from wherever the fuck you were at to know where the fuck you were going. Not only that, you had to do more. It seemed, nigga, Breath of the Wild harder than that motherfucking game. Nigga, the only reason
Yo,
why
Thrash.
he did say, "Yo, Ken said that shit."
Well, I'm telling you, bro. I'm gonna tell you because in Breath of the Wild, right there, you have to literally create the fucking map as you're playing the game. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, look, bro, and even on top of that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, from scratch, yo. And then on top of that, right, you have all of the climbing mechanics. You have to deal with the fucking weather. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't climb on you can't climb on surfaces when it's wet and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like Breath of the Wild did shit in terms of its level design and its systems that worked so much better than what Elden Ring did. But people come in and they say, oh, so Horizon, you can't climb everything on the fucking map. It's like, nigga, you can't climb anything on Elden Ring. It's like, what the fuck?
No, you can't.
Well, here's the thing. Let me say this.
Is hope that your horse can double jump somewhere or get some wind blown up its fucking ass, either one way or the fucking other, or you find a treasure chest. All late, this fucking lazy ass shit. This is what pisses me off because they did it so lazily. Now you transport through treasure chests and smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck making it all mysterious or fuck making it all like matching the fucking atmosphere that they're going for. No. You open a fucking treasure chest and you fucking disappear into somewhere else for no fucking reason, underpowered, underleveled, so you can find a weapon or whatever the fuck. Right? The design is cool. It's just that everything to me, this game is done lazy. It's just lazy. You got patches of grass popping in. It's just fucking like just thinking of a Souls game as a Souls player, right? Thinking of a Souls game with double jump in it irks me, dog, because it's just the levels are supposed to be the hardest part of the game. Fuck the boss. It's getting to the boss that's hard. And I think that's what was lost in this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a great game.
You want to know what's sloppy about it? Like you were saying, this is completely indicative of the sloppiness. Fuck the cameras and shit like that, right? All them fucking graces, right? So I'm sitting there, nigga, they had like 7 graces in the same fucking area.
Safety.
Why?
Safety.
And then they had the fucking what do you call it? That statue that brings you if it's near a boss.
They got a fucking
the statue of Mariner or whatever the fuck it is. Like if you die, and I'm like, in case you die, that statue will bring you to life, or the other 7 fucking graces will bring you back to life.
And you can transport to those graces at any time without
no resources,
without a consumable, nothing.
No resources, nothing. You just can do it, and the fall damage is fucked up.
Yeah, you good.
I was like, okay, I think I can make this. He did.
Yeah, my bitch ass horse and shit, nigga. Fucking fucked up ankle horse having ass. Like I said, I mean, I heard they patched out that where like I think a lot of bosses you can't use a horse to fight no more. And niggas was lying about that. And I'm like, nigga, like, no, that's how it's supposed to be. Like, you motherfuckers literally riding around on your horse and chopping that fucking dragon legs, nigga. You call yourself beating the boss. And it's like, bro, like, this is not what...
But here's the thing, though. The reason why it made you play that way is because of the boss mechanics. You got a giant boss that the camera can't even fucking keep up with. It can't even keep up with it. That shit goes bonkers. When you try to lock on it. So you're like, okay, let me not lock on it, right? You go up to there and the boss is doing something with his hands up in the sky where you can't fucking tell because you got to look down and hit his ankles. So You're sitting there hitting his ankles, and then all of a sudden he does something, and it fucks you up. So you got to just memorize it and just kind of like it just does it. It feels overall sloppy. I'm just
any open world boss you can cheese. You can always find a way to cheese an open world boss.
And Horizon, just to let people know, so I can balance this out, all you gotta do is step back. Go as far as you can. That motherfucker will turn back around. It happens with any fucking boss.
Yep. Any period. Any enemy, any boss. I showed it in my analysis how these motherfuckers will not cross a certain line. And you can just pick them off from there if you want to. You know what I'm saying?
It's farther than the other Horizon, but it still stands. So, and just I don't know. It's funny to me that the Xbots did a swine dive on this fucking game, claiming it to be their own just to spite PlayStation fans. Like, it's weird to me. Like, this is why I was saying this shit. You salty for what reason? Why are you so salty? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. It's because it's on PlayStation. How come you don't have that much vitriol for Nintendo? You don't say nothing about them. Why you care about what we do?
They don't care, man. They just want to. They just want to talk to us, man. This is all I get out of it.
All you gotta do is say, "Hey, what's going on?" You don't look. You don't gotta write.
I can show you tweets, bro. I think
they need somebody to hug them, yo.
Yeah, this nigga was mad. This one nigga is bad is talking all this shit, nigga, and I blocked his ass. I'm like, I don't know you, nigga. Like, fuck, don't message, nigga. Never message me with just a gift. Don't do it. Don't message. I will fucking block you, dog. Like, have a conversation or don't leave me no fucking gift, my nigga. I don't fuck your gift, bro. So I blocked the nigga, and niggas would come back and like tell other niggas for me to unblock them because I'm scared of them. I'm like, no, what? I'm scared. I don't gotta deal with kindergartners, my nigga. Like, I don't mind anybody talking shit about a nigga. I just mind talking to people who ain't got no sense. Why would I waste my time with people like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, say something back if you got something to say. It don't just like I said, that and racism. Like, these niggas really want me to unblock them. And I'm like, why the fuck you want me to unblock me for, my nigga? Am I the highlight of your day? I thought you disliked me, nigga. Especially the ones who say, "Oh, he doesn't ever bring anything to the table. I don't know why I even listen to him." I'm blocked. Me
and Ken, we be talking about that shit. I don't mention that. You know what I'm going to say? I'm gonna keep it as ambiguous because you know the person is out there. The hills have eyes, but motherfucker always has some kind of negative shit to say about my videos, yo. But it's still there
every time. Huh?
I don't understand it. Like, they be the biggest fans. Like,
niggas tell me details about my video. Like, I didn't make my own video. I'm like, nigga, like,
it's very interesting. Now, this is a small YouTube channel, by the way. Like I said, I'm on YouTube, and you can get these videos archived or Gamecast on YouTube. But you got this situation where you got a whole bunch of fucking, like, it's not a big channel, and I get a lot of engagement with people talking about some, oh, you just mad because of this, and then there's the same recurring people over and I'm like, dog, like, do you like? Damn, I feel flattered though. At first, I was mad. I was mad. I was mad. I was mad as shit, yo. I was upset. I'm like, yo, leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone, yo. I was like Michael Jackson.
That's what they want, nigga. I love their comments every time. Like, I hit the love button, nigga. For real. Like, I love this shit, dog. You hear it every fucking week. Nigga, same thing with Fatanga and Alex. I've been battling these niggas all day.
I saw what you said about Alex, yo. That shit was fucking classic, yo. You was like, imagine not being able to make your own content. You gotta find somebody else's shit. What kind of sorry shit is this shit?
I'm trying to say something about like that no one has an Xbox song. Like, trying to say something, imagine making a song. Nigga, creativity. Nigga, like, what the fuck, nigga? Just because you and your niggas don't do a goddamn thing but look up other people's shit. But again, that just shows that they're watching my shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do.
They love it. They keep coming back. They keep coming back
to my shit. Nigga, they have to.
Yo, the biggest fans, yo, the biggest fans.
They want to run, my nigga.
Bro, the biggest fan.
A big ass fan of mine. Nigga, as soon as I was like, nigga, send that link. He was like, oh, hell yeah, yes. Let's do this. Hey, King. How you doing, King? Like these niggas be hype. Nigga, and then when I make
then, yo, you wanna know what's funny? You wanna know what's funny, Thrash? I'll say this and that. Yo, you want to know what's funny? I'll say this and I'll close this shit out because, you know, people probably wonder what the fuck you doing, what I'm doing. So I'll say this, right? When these people have a crazy rebuttal and you invite them to have a discussion about it and they come in popping that shit and they realize you ain't stupid,
Nigga.
then they mad civilized like a motherfucker.
Yo, that shit happened a couple times when we were doing our show.
Yeah, Alex. Oh no, it's Alex came in this shit. He was like, "Well, I just want to see what you were talking about. What do you mean that you have to download drivers? What do you mean that? Why do you like consoles so much?" I said, "I like consoles because I don't have to worry about." When I'm doing my little live streams, I get that we don't have the control. I get it. I don't want the control. I don't need it for what I'm trying to do. I said, but when you try to stream stuff, it takes CPU cycles and GPU cycles. It'll make your fucking shit inconsistent. And he thought I didn't know about PC shit.
Of course not, man.
And then he was like, I don't know what you're talking about because of this. I said, here you go, man. Here's an article. Since you don't know, oh, that's only like 1 or 2%. I said that 1 or 2% can cause hiccups in your fucking performance. I don't want that. There's a separate CPU that handles the streaming on the PlayStation and the Xbox. I said there's reasons to have a console. Sometimes you don't want to do all that shit, and that's okay. That's okay. Listen, he was like, well, listen. Okay, so he stood with the conversation for about 30 extra minutes. Well, listen, guys, I got to get back to the wife or whatever he said. You guys have a great day. And you see how much, and they will never come back again. Never.
Nigga, there's nothing there for him. Nigga, there's nothing there for him, nigga. That's what I be trying to tell everybody, man. That's why I be trying to expose these niggas. Nigga, I ask for give me your Steam account. You a PC player. Cuz want to ignore that whole question. Ignore that whole question. Nigga,
mute like a motherfucker.
Xbox,
nigga. Mute like a motherfucker. Mute like a motherfucker. Can't say shit. Don't say a mother. They don't know how to say nothing.
Ask these niggas, what do you game on? Show me. They be like, oh, you're gatekeeping. No, yes, I am gatekeeping from fake niggas like you, nigga. So prove that you real, nigga. Prove that you real, nigga. We got catfishing women around this mother. Prove that you motherfucking real. You know, and it's like, stop falling for these niggas, man. Xbox niggas are clinging onto these niggas who don't even like Xbox. That's how bad it is over there.
And maybe you can look this up too. Maybe you can look this up too. I heard that, I don't know who he was. It's some cult. That's what it was. And he had like a confession on some kind of podcast. Was like, I don't do this, dude. I'm just trying to get ratings.
Oh yeah. Somebody was posting that shit earlier. You know what's funny, man? I actually used to listen to Colt Eastwood, man, like a couple years ago. Like I didn't mind. I used to listen to all of them. I used to listen to Colt, fucking Dealer. What's this dude's name? Randall Thor. I used to listen to all them niggas, yo. But after a while, man, it's just like, bro, they talk about the same shit. Xbox boost this, fucking leak here, and fuck. I'm like, dude, I don't. And see, and I get it, right? Because the same shit happens with PlayStation, right? Because a lot of people talk about like whatever performance boost leaks and shit like that, right? That's cool. The fucking difference is that one's giving you games, the other one's not giving you games. Nigga, like I don't give a fuck about your fucking boost and your fucking leaks if you don't have any games for me to play, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
You know what the funny thing is? Here's the thing, right? When it comes to them, 5 years ago they had Don Matrix. Those years they had stuff to talk about. And so when they were talking back then, it was like I could see why they were doing it. They have a hope and a prayer and whatever. They see their games out there. Okay, cool. I may not like the games that they have, but I can respect that something's coming out. Then when Phil Spencer jumped in, it went from canceled games to nothing for years. And then that narrative of them liking Xbox fell apart over the years. When you look at Colt and Diller, they don't have really anything to say about their console. It makes no sense. Like, there's nothing to talk about because there ain't nothing on that bitch except third party. And be honest with you, you can get a PC or a PlayStation. If that's the case, what is your reasoning for the amount of cap that you are giving to this fucking console?
You know when I stopped listening to them niggas, yo? It was when fucking, I remember Colt made a video one time. This was a few years ago at this point. He said some shit about exclusives don't sell consoles or some shit like that. I forgot the name of the video, but it was some dumb shit like that. So I was like, all right, whatever. I listened to the fucking video, and he was trying to come up with every goddamn metric that he could fucking muster out of his fucking ass. You know what I'm saying? To try to prove why exclusives don't matter. You know what I'm saying? And then it's fucking funny, yo, because we were at the time, a lot of us said the same shit. I mean, not what he was saying, but we were like, yo, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not true at all. You know? And that was the fucking narrative at the time. And then fucking come to find out, you know, when Microsoft bought Bethesda and some of these other studios, now exclusives matter again. Now exclusives are great. Now, you know what I'm saying? It's like I can't do that shit, man.
They were bitter. They were saying, yo, they thought, and I told you, you remember when it first happened? When Activision was purchased by them, and I was like, I don't see it a big deal because I already know what's going to happen. They can't take all those games away. It damaged the brand. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't really give a damn. And I was like, you captured a company that was on the way down anyway. So I don't care. You was like, you told me you'll have a big impact. I'm like, yeah. If we're still going to get the game, what the fuck does it matter? It don't matter what they did. For what? That benefits them. And sure enough, that shit died down. Bungie was purchased and made a bigger splash than that fucking $68 billion purchase. That may fall through.
Honestly, bro, and I made a fucking video about this shit too, man. I think we should stop talking about these fucking publishers, man. You know, unless they have some kind of new game, something. I don't think it's worth talking about, man, for the most part.
I don't think a lot of this shit. This is what I want. And I know there's a lot of passionate, but I'll say this and I'm out. And thank you, all of you guys, for jumping in. Sick, everybody. Thank you all for jumping in. I didn't want this to be extremely long because I play games. I'm waiting for my Elden Ring and my Gran Turismo personally tonight. But I want to say this. I know there's a lot of passionate PlayStation fans, and this wasn't about them. This is not talking about all fanboys. I wanted to specifically zero in on Xbots. And I get that there's PlayStation fans out there that will sit there and be like, oh, I thought that this. Like they do a whole bunch of troll posts and shit like that. And to be honest with you, I really don't. I would just block niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like when they start acting crazy, I just block them. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it when PlayStation fans do that shit either. It's immature. Like you 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 years old still doing these fucking troll tweets. That's just stupid to me. Like, and it perpetuates. You say something bad about Microsoft, then they try to muster up and try to say something bad about you over and over. I'm like, damn, I'm just looking for a damn leak. I don't really care about all this shit. I gotta start muting people, yo. That shit's annoying. Like, I get that you like the whole. They don't get old to y'all. They don't get old constantly posting shit about, you know, oh, they bought this. What does Microsoft have? Oh, they bought this. What does Sony have? They don't get old to you. It's been like 4 years.
You know, I was gonna say, man, because I don't even block people, man, at all. Like, I've never blocked anyone. All I do is mute them because it's like, even if you fucking block them, what they're going to do is they're going to screenshot your shit and try to get content off of it, man. So I just mute the fuck out of them.
So, yeah.
You know, I ain't giving them bitches nothing.
But yeah, yo, Thrash, thank you so much. I really appreciate you jumping in here. I was like, oh, I already know Thrash is going to say some shit, yo. When you like that post, I was like, oh, boy, he about to rip somebody a new asshole. I already know. I was like, here he comes.
I think I will say, nigga, me and Sick months ago had an argument about Kojima and PlayStation and how Death Stranding actually belonged to. I believe he said it belonged to PlayStation. I said it belonged to Kojima. And with the new thing coming up, that I was thinking about, like, yeah, this motherfucker was right, but I was not going to admit it until this nigga brought it up, and he brought it up. Fucking memory having ass nigga. So he was right. I think he was right. Unless Kojima is bought. Look, I'll say it like this. If Kojima Games is not bought, then Sony owns that IP. I was wrong. If Kojima is bought, it's still up in the air who owned it at the time of buying. You know what I'm saying? But more than likely, I don't know if Kojima is bought and paid for. I think it is. I've already said I made videos months ago about saying it and giving proof as to why, but yeah, that motherfucker was probably right. So I
What,
got
that they own the IP? What?
yeah, they need to feed that Sony owned the IP. Because at this point, Sony owned the IP. There's no news on saying that Kojima has been bought, but there is Sony posting the fucking IP like it's theirs, right? So if they haven't bought Kojima, then for sure this nigga has won. It's right now it's in his favor. That nigga is like,
No, but you made this is why I preemptively said this shit, yo. They are showing studios and what the studios have to offer.
That's why I said
That's the key to it.
That's why I think they may have bought, but I've been new already because it
They
was.
put that,
Well,
and
I've
I'm
been
looking at it
told this
now. I'm
because
looking at
they
it now,
showed.
right? I'm looking at it now. It says PlayStation Studios, right? I'm looking at it on Twitter.
Yeah.
That don't mean no. I mean, I guess you could say it represents like the IPs that they made, but there's so many different IPs that they could have used, and it's like 90% of it is fucking Sony's.
Well, those
studios,
are studios, though.
And then
Right.
10%,
those are
one of them
that made those games. It's
right,
not really
and then
IP.
that's what I'm saying. But if you look at it in the IP standpoint, I'm looking at it now. You have a Sobe with the fucking with whatever that fucking robe Astrobot. You have Days Gone, which is what been. You have Aloy, Guerrilla Games. You have Demon Souls. All of them represent the studio. They're in the IP. And you have the fucking MOB, which is fucking San Diego.
Right.
But then you have this fucking Sam Porter Bridges. Why is he there?
Why is he there? Unless they own it. But then it's like, but it wasn't made by the studio unless they own that studio. So that's why I say it's still up in the air. But right now, this nigga is in the lead. I can't deny that shit because there is no news about Kojima being bought. Even though this nigga just moved into a new studio and has shared absolutely no pictures of this new studio.
He was taking a picture of Sony's studio shit outside.
Yeah, outside. Yeah, I'm telling you, he even their mocap was inside of Sony's studios. But they left Kojima Studios. The actual Kojima Studios has shut down. And they moved, and he said, we're upsizing. I'm like, nigga, how much did Death Stranding sell, my nigga? You gonna upgrade to a bigger studio? Like, nigga, how much money did you make? And it's like, did Sony place him into a bigger studio? You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you, you know what the biggest question is? You know what the biggest question is? What kind of game would he be making?
I think it's those games that they claim that I believe that they bought from Konami. I think that he's working on Silent Hill right now. I think he's going to put out PT. I think that's what it is. He said he's going to be working with Norman Reedus. He said he's going to be working with Del Toro. Del Toro mentions the shit at fucking the Game Awards. Fucking Norman Reedus mentions the shit. He said he's working with Kojima a while back. And then there's rumors about Silent Hill this, Silent Hill that. I think that Silent Hill is still. I still believe it's abandoned. I don't care what nobody says. I still believe that shit is abandoned. That nigga going to Colin Moriarty also proves that nigga not a developer. Don't know shit that he's talking about because he's hired to pretend to be that. And I think that we are getting what we're getting because this is what we got. I think that the main holdup is the relationship between Konami and Kojima, and I think Sony is trying to air that out before they complete this thing. You know what I'm saying? That way everybody's happy. And I believe that Sony already owns those three: Castlevania, Silent Hill, and Metal Gear. I believe they own those three, and Kojima has worked on all three of those, so it would make sense for them to pick him up as well. That's what I think, and I think that he's working on a game that he wanted to work on. We all know PC was going to change the game. I mean, imagine if PT actually came out, bro. Like, we would be talking about one of the best games ever created. I think because that demo was so great that games copied that demo. Resident Evil copied PT. You know what I'm saying? To give you a different type and take on horror, my nigga. There are so many PC games with hallways and shit. Man, that if you haven't, PT is so fucking special that it makes your PlayStation 4 more valuable. You don't believe me? Go to eBay and look up PlayStation 4 with PT on it, and it'll be at a higher price than people are buying. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, man. I think that it would have changed the game, and I think he knows this. And I think it's a rare form for him to be working with a fucking horror director from movies. And Kojima wants to be a fucking movie director. Bro, I'm just listen, dog. I think it's peak.
If they bought,
but here's the thing. True, when do you think they might? When do you think they might announce that?
Soon.
If all that shit is true.
I don't think this is a mistake. I think this is the same shit that happened with fucking Blue Point when they accidentally put that shit and then took it out. But this shit, they haven't even taken it out, bro. I think shit as soon as tomorrow we can hear something. You know what I'm saying? This nigga has already moved to another fucking place. I believe as soon as tomorrow we're gonna be hearing something about this shit. Maybe even tonight, maybe hours from now. You know what I'm saying? I think they like Thursdays. I'm telling you, dog. I don't know, bro. I don't know. This is what I think. Maybe it's part of me hoping, but I'm just looking at it. Where there's smoke, there's fire, bro. It's always been that way. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I believe that we see a lot of smoke, man. And shit got to make sense in some way, man. It's a lot of smoke being billowed around this motherfucker. Kojima ain't make no money, dog. Nigga, as much as I like Death Stranding, nigga, it wasn't a high-selling game, even when with the PC. Not to mention they owe Sony money. Not to mention that they just bought a new studio and all these developers need to get paid. And I just can't see them affording another bigger studio, bro. I can't see them affording that. You know, after one game, I just can't see it. So we'll see.
I guess we'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, listen, guys. Thank you guys for showing up. What's going on, Chris? Well, I'm gonna end it here because I want to get my fucking gaming on. I can't beat one of the what is it, Godwick or whatever that motherfucker. I just don't feel like dealing with him. I'm just gonna farm for some more people and get some strength somewhere and keep it moving. I don't have time for that, dude. Godric? No, I didn't. I didn't.
Keep that nigga ass naked with a diaper on. Nigga, stop it. Nigga, easy. Nigga, just make sure.
I'm not really. You know what? I'm not really that invested in playing that right now. I'm like playing 30 minutes at a time, so like I'm not really that deep into it. And either way, like I'm enjoying it the way I want to enjoy it, and that's how I'm gonna. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm gonna do it. I have patience. I mean, I need patience. I need patience to beat him. I get it. I just don't have patience right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying, of course, like Thor said to Star, what's the nigga name? Star Lord on at the end of Endgame and shit. When then he was like, "I'm still the leader," and he was like, "Of course." That's what I'm saying. Of course to you on your fucking Elden Ring, nigga. Get your Elden Ring game up, nigga. Get good.
fight what do you call it? Slaughter Spine, yo, on fucking on Very Hard and Horizon for Ben West.
Oh yeah, I haven't got to him yet, but I've heard about the Slaughter Spine, my nigga. I'm 51 hours in, nigga. I just been playing nothing but side missions, bro.
Bro, he comes, yo. The way that nigga comes, yo, he doesn't even. How does he play? As soon as he see you, yo, it's on site, yo. Yeah. On site. He don't even try to, he don't just growl and then shake his feet, yo. Instant lasers everywhere, yo.
Lens flares or nothing, huh?
Bro, on site, yo. The second he see you on site, yo, he's like, nah, I heard about your ass. I know that you that machine hunter bitch. I'm gonna fuck you up on site. You the redhead girl? They call you red? Oh no, you done. Oh no. We ain't doing this.
I heard about that chick, nigga. I heard about that spot. I haven't even got to it, but I heard about that motherfucker though.
Oh man! You know, low key, that fucking bat, that fucking Dreadwing, yo, that motherfucker. I'm like, chill the fuck. I was playing. I was talking with Ken. I was like, damn, chill the fuck out. They had the little Velociraptors peeking. It was like, you know what I mean? They had all the extra shit. He was like, I said, come on, man. Man, y'all doing too much, man. Relax.
Nigga, I'm in Vegas right now. That's where I'm at.
Did you do the mission?
All the time. Well, I just got into Vegas right now. I'm just now talking to that one chubby nigga who they gonna learn how to breathe on the water and shit.
Yo, did it look like low key? Aloy kind of like that dad by. They were like vibing a little bit.
Did yeah, they was. Shit? I noticed that because they were talking at the same time. So I'm like, is she?
Yeah, she looked like it looked like she got a little bit wet because he's intelligent. You know what I mean? She like I think Aloy is one of them motherfuckers that get hype, they get turned on by intelligence.
Yeah, the technology
like,
and all that. Like that's why she ain't on other cuz and shit, nigga. She not even on that mohawk. What's his name?
Aaron. I think well, at the end, she kind of like a little bit.
Yeah, nigga, plot. That's plot sex, nigga. That's all that is. Nigga, plot sex. She wanted to fuck the shit out of that water, nigga. I got them. I'm there now, my nigga.
Yo, I looked at it, yo. She did a little frowning face. She was like, I don't know. We may need that little bit of this.
And they look at. I got the face paint on with the lipstick, so you know. She
the one that make her look like a slut. Yo, I told her, I was telling Kendra, I said I need to take this shit off. She's like a pure slut. I said I can't do this, man. No, they ain't her personality. Why she look a slut?
I don't know what the fuck none of you motherfuckers is talking about, dog.
There's no Aloy, and I got that armor on with her waist out and shit. I'm like, she got her doggy out, rips out, and shit.
Yo, I was like, yo, she looking a little bit, she looking like, okay. I was like, she looking a little slutty. Let me take that makeup off. She doing too much Aloy.
Over there. See, this nigga should have known he could have smashed that. I'd have been trying to go underwater with it. I don't know if he did, but
I looked at that. I said, it looked like. I was looking at that. I said, it looked like she won it. You gotta play that part. I was like, it looked like she kind of won it a little bit. You know what I mean? She's like, oh, that nigga. She was like, that nigga's intelligent.
I swear, I was like, they in Vegas too? Like, nigga, like everything.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
They in Vegas. I think they was at Circus somewhere. Nigga, like getting ready.
They went under that lagoon, yo. What they need to do. She came out like nothing happened.
I thought this nigga was gonna get some desert pussy, dog. Like some desert punani, dog. That's facts, nigga. I noticed that shit too, nigga. That is facts.
I was like, oh no. But all right, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I'll be here on Saturday and try to come up with a decent subject. I think I want to talk about this Japanese and what Sony's doing with that.
We'll be talking about Kojima. And productions being part of Sony Studios. I think they will be talking about that.
Probably. So, because I'm saying it for the record. On Saturday, I'm going to be talking about how it seems like why people have so much of a problem with Sony, and they say, oh, they don't care about Japanese people and shit like that, or they don't care about the Japanese, and they're not doing this. I just want to kind of put that out there. But if you're right, and something pops up at the end of this week, that'll kill that narrative, because I've seen a lot of people kind of talking about that shit too. Like, oh, Sony doesn't care about Japanese and they're just so Western focused. Stupid. I'm like, they need to step their game up, the Japanese, man. I'm tired of these sloppy ass fucking games. Like, what was that what was that game that looked mad grainy? A PS3 game?
Stranger Paradise?
Yeah. The Final Fantasy game.
Bro, they need to do better.
It's great, but it does look like why does it look like this? I thought it was like a filter or something, the way it looked. It does look.
Nah, that game looks like ass, yo.
Yeah, it looks rough. But I'm telling you, if they would take something with the color, they added too much color to it, nigga. If they take that color out, I'm telling you, it look better than what it does.
Bro, rough is a fucking understatement. That game looks like ass.
nigga, it looked better than Elden Ring.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
How about those limits?
I will not. Anyway, guys.